All right, looks like that we are live in some shape, manner, or form. It's Mikey and Vinnie, Michael Knight in New York. Vinnie on
And it's a
a
Freaky Fractious Friday.
thank you because I probably still don't. I'm not sure what day it is,
Well,
Michael.
Vinny's been under the weather, so we're glad to see you back in the pink, Vin. We missed you
Thank you.
for Monday and Wednesday.
I'm also glad to see that the medical community, after thousands of dollars and 15 minutes of analysis, has figured out that maybe, not for suredly, what you have to watch out for now in life, Mikey,
Yes.
is and I give this the fair warning to everybody in the medical consuming community because that's what you have out there. A popular thing now with the way, and hospitals aren't done on funding or hospitals aren't done on need anymore. They're done on how much they figure they can get out of the federal government. So what that says is that there's an empty office building sitting on a corner of Hollywood and Vine, and some hospital director, as you've probably seen in a TV show or two, decides that it would be a great place to put up what they now are, from what I understand, are phrasing a pop-up emergency room. Now, it's
Well, that
nothing
sounds pretty
like
exciting. I wouldn't want to
yeah,
miss
it's
that.
nothing like the emergency room you and I are used to, where ambulances roll in and say we're going to take you to the hospital, and they come with a shovel and they take what's left of you and put you in the van and throw you off to the emergency room. No, this is an emergency room that has been put in an office building that didn't pay their rent last month. So the signage from the old place is still in there. It just
Biff,
has a banner, one of those quick sign banners taped up over that.
Biff
That says
Jiggerman's data
emergency room.
processing.
Yeah. And they have a supply of these.
Yeah.
And they sit you down and they get all the information they can from you, and then they proceed to do what emergency rooms do. And that is gain access to a computer that tells you who you're insured by, what type of insurance
Not
you
what you've
have,
got, just your coverage.
just your coverage. Once they figure out your coverage, then they figure out if your coverage matches with their coverage of the people they like to treat.
They want to
And
see
if
if you've got. They want to see if you've got what they've got.
right, but not medically. I mean, I think the PDRs and the different medical books have been stored away somewhere in a back room somewhere, and we'll get to that later. Let's find out first what coverage you have.
If you're one of us,
if you're in our gang, then we'll sit you down for a half hour. There's one emergency room that will sit you out in the hallway.
it's comfy.
They turn your hallway.
You'll be fine.
Into
We'll
the
be right with.
emergency room.
We'll be right with you.
Remember the lobby you used to go into to wait for somebody? Excuse me, is my cousin Ed here? I think he's been shot, stabbed, and some other things. And they say to you, "Oh yeah, hang out. Yeah, we'll look him up." And usually some old lady with an over smock coat with a flower on it. And
a pink lady.
Something. Yeah. Says to you, "Okay, let me look that up for you." And she looks at the register and says, "Oh, yeah, he's in room 902 or 605, or he died a half hour ago."
You just missed him.
You should have you shouldn't have taken, we told you to take the streets. You took the Parkway. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Well, they've taken those areas now in this one hospital that we have here locally, called, and now call it the emergency room. They went down to the used furniture. What was the used furniture place we used to have? I think it's still here, Ducky's. They went down to Ducky's and they got themselves a couple of dividers and some chairs and a couple of cabinets, and now that's where you go for your medical treatment. We owe you no better than that. This is America.
And baseball season has just begun.
And baseball season, meanwhile, of which, you know me, I'm an absolute fan of baseball. I live for opening day. Well, don't live for it yesterday. Don't take that off your plans. Else we're going to make sure you don't see that.
The Mets won, didn't they?
Yes,
they
they
beat
did.
Cleveland.
No,
Well,
no,
the
no.
Giant.
No, the
Gi-
Mariners lost to Cleveland. The Mets took apart
The
defending
Pirates.
Cy Young winner Paul Skeens. I think he was gone in the first inning. So,
Just wasn't his day.
To Met fans, you know, this is the best battle of the war. Except that there's nowhere else to go up except from here. Now, what the Giants? Did they play yesterday?
They played not yesterday, but the day before. They played the Yankees in San Francisco.
That's right,
and lost miserably 7-0. We're never in the game. We're never part of the game. We're never involved in the game in any way except to give up 7 runs. They gave up 5 runs on hits and 2 runs on throwing errors.
Oh, that seems to be what the Pirates' plan of action was, strangely enough, as well. They had an infielder playing the outfield. And as fans of baseball will tell you, only when the guy's name is either Tory or and I hardly can think of any other names besides that make that transition fairly well. One of the Boyer brothers, I think, did it back in the 60s.
Ken, or was it Cleet or Ken?
Yes, but here's the $10,000 question. What was the third Boyer brother's name? There was a Cletus, and there was a Kenneth. But there also was a third Boyer brother.
Bobby Bonilla Boyer.
Unfortunately, you're close, but no cigar. Cloyd.
Cloyd?
Cloyd.
Wow.
Cletus, Ken, and Cloyd.
How did Ken get in there? I mean, there's no room for a Kenneth. There's a Cloyd and a Cletus, but
doesn't appear like there would be. Doesn't appear like there would be at all, but there was a Cletus, and there was a Ken, and there was a Cloyd.
Did Cloyd play in the major leagues?
He played. Yeah, I can't remember where he played, but I could easily look it up if whatever was going on my phone here would stop. It's another thing. I believe that they do something to the screen of your phone that when you go into the emergency room changes all the settings.
Really?
You
walk through a force field and it changes everything?
I don't know what it is, but something changes because now since last night, and I got back from my third emergency room of the week. I don't know, I have to look. My third emergency room of the week, where they actually figured out what was wrong, it appears, in about 10 minutes, might I say. Might I also say it was the emergency room with the seats all in the hallway that everybody in the neighborhood says don't go to because their seats are in the hallway. Lesson learned is, many MASH units treated soldiers in the hallway.
So what hospital finally gave you a medical treatment?
Swedish in Edmonds. They had their seats out in the hallway there, like they said they would. But I was seen in I don't know. I want to say 10 minutes within walking into the place,
And they figured it out just like that, finally.
and a couple of blood tests and an X-ray. And they came back and said, "Yeah, we think you have the gout," and got that pretty much straightened away. Take this pill, take that pill. We're going to give you a shot here. It's going to knock you for a loop. Don't make any plans for a day or so.
If you have anything to do that's outside of the loop, don't do it. This is going to
Don't
be
do
only
it.
for stuff in the loop.
Relax. We'll get to you, and we'll be okay.
And were you better?
I'm here. This is about as good as it's been since
Yeah.
in the last I don't know, since my sister got up here. I could use a cup of coffee, which I believe she's going to run out and get at some point. But no, they were good. And again, it wasn't without fault because there's another link in this chain of emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
This new called urgent care.
Yes.
Now, if you take apart that name emergency, somewhere in there, the word urgent sits. I'm sure they have that in Southern California too. It's a way of get your money before they get your money.
It's a plan. Sounds like a plan.
You go into the urgent care, and then they deem from the urgent care that you may need emergent care.
Or true care. Actual care.
True care. Actual care. But they're not going to tell you right off the bat because the liability lawyers won't let them. So anyway, we were first instructed to go to emergent care. No, to urgent care. But then we got the standard department store lineup. Well, we don't know why they would have sent you here. You belong there, which is a half a block walk down the street, which is always good to take when you're in pain.
It's like when they make you have an X-ray when you need an MRI. Got to have the X-ray first. Why?
Oh,
it's just procedure. There's no why, and we're not even going to look at the X-ray because it's not going to give us the image that we want. So we have to do the X-ray, and then the insurance company will okay the MRI, and then we'll actually get the imaging that we need to diagnose your problem.
Well, it was a stunning turn of events. Wow, that's very amazing. Here's a woman that hasn't called me back in a year, and all of a sudden wants to talk to me. She's an urgent care nurse. This is the best one. You see, it's Swedish. What they do is when you're old and feeble like me, they assign you an assistant. It's somebody to help navigate you through the different
hallway.
things that go wrong in a
medical
relationship between a hospital and a patient.
Right.
And they're supposed to call you every month or so and check in on you. How you doing? And can we help you? Can we get you? And for the first month of this person's tenure as my assigned person, everything went well. She would call every week. You have this appointment for this week, this appointment for this week, that appointment for this week. You're going to be all right to make them all? Do we need to change anything? I had really thought I had died and gone to heaven. Then one day I called Jenny up. I don't want to give no names out. I called her up to say, hey, I'm having a problem here getting in touch with you, and could you please call me back? And I never heard from her again. I'm having a problem. Never heard from you. Never heard from her, and this was a year ago, more than that. And even in the meantime, I got a call from a new nurse who
I've been
said,
assigned to your case.
I've been assigned to your case. I said, all right, as often happens in the medical field, he's got off to greener pastures. Maybe she's getting more money over at Overlake than she is at Swedish. So, c'est la vie. So,
C'est la Swede.
and then all of a sudden, now I get a call from the first nurse.
No, you're back in the paperwork. They know that you've been
I must have
treated.
came up in the paperwork or something, or maybe she only covers certain diseases. Maybe you have to really be sick to get to see number one instead of
She
number
might have
two.
been a gout specialist all along, and she just didn't get let on. If you ever come down with a gout, I'm your gal. But until then, there's not much I can do for you.
Oh, yeah, she's gout gal. So I'm dealing with gout gal here. But anyway, it appears that I'll have to give her a call back. I hope that's the case, and she could work some of the wonders for me. But then again, the second part of that is how will I trust now that I will ever get a call back from her once I call her? Was
Well,
this just one of those things where you have me for 10 seconds, say what you're going to say, because I'm getting out of here?
The gout story is an interesting diagnosis. It's an old disease, and that's why probably they don't see enough of it to be able to say, oh, I know what you've got.
I wonder how many times it's misdiagnosed as something different. I mean, it's an old disease, but has it stopped happening to people? And now because Bobby Kennedy is the head of the what is he the head of?
He's the head of the misdiagnosis department.
I believe that. Now he believes that that is the next disease that deserves a comeback. So,
I think in the Broadway play written by George Kaufman called The Man Who Came to Dinner, Sheridan Whiteside had the gout, and he fell down the stairs and hurt his hip and had to stay in the house of these innocent people in a small town in Indiana somewhere. He had to do his Christmas Eve broadcast from there. He brought all his famous friends from around the world into their home and had maintained his mastery of the household from his wheelchair because he had gout and a broken hip.
Yeah, I never even.
So if you run into Dr. Sheridan Whiteside, steer clear. Take a sharp right and
or ask him questions. The other thing would be to find out what his deal is, or I guess not. I don't know. Can I go with a game time decision on that?
Of course.
So anyway, here I am. One happy opening day, one sad opening day in the books, and an opening day for many with baseball's newest plan to make itself invisible to the average person.
To put it on Netflix.
Is to put the opening game, because now they have figured out that many people believe the opening day game as the what do they call them? Keystone events, they used to call them. You had your All-Star game, you had your World Series, you had your different types of events, and those were the keystone events of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And the playoffs. Did I say that? Playoffs, All-Star game, World Series. Opening day was in there, but it wasn't. I mean, it kind of was and it wasn't, because you had to take off to get from work to go to opening day, and not everybody was willing to take a chance of getting fired.
Because it was a day game for the most part.
Right. It was a day game, but now we've turned them into these
nighttime maximum viewing.
Nighttime viewing, where you can go and they have these incredibly, really bad announcing teams
Well, they
that
don't work.
are
Netflix doesn't have a sports department, so they have to hire 3 people to get together that have never worked together, and the outcome is not inspiring. You don't
right.
you don't get you don't get your own announcers. You don't get your local announcers. You don't get to choose. That's what they should do. You could the show's there. If you want to see the Yankee broadcast, it's available. If you want to see the Giants broadcast, that's available. If you want to see 3 guys who don't know how to call the game together and have nothing to say to one another and do not represent either team, why would you want that? But that's what they offer you.
Well, and the great and the great thing is you have that choice that makes you feel like you have somebody to blame if everything goes wrong. Um,
Well,
I'm sure.
I had CC Sabathia, Hunter Pence, and some guy I didn't know who was calling the balls and strikes.
Yeah, and really, that's the reason we lost. And that's the reason I couldn't get my car started in the parking lot afterwards. But we'll go on Saturday to a game that's a game, and we'll see what's happening there. And it won't be Hunter Pence. It'll be who was the Giants this year? Krukow. Is it the regular? Did they make a switch in the Giants?
It's still Kruk and Cup.
Did they at some point bring somebody back for a game? Kuiper?
Kuiper is there.
Was there somebody else that got pissed off?
Mike Krukow did not do the preseason and only does home games.
Okay, I know there was some kind of switch.
Then they have John Miller, and they have the guy from ESPN.
Matt Versagian?
No, the kid that went to Stanford. He's not a kid anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he was an intern many years ago.
Now he's a go-to guy.
Yeah, not Brody. Marky Markson. No. Give me a second and I'll get it. Yeah, he's got an interesting name too. It's I can't just get it off the top of my head. Maxie Maxon or something. I forget. Anyway,
it's a pretty sturdy lineup for the Giants in terms of balls and strikes and coverage.
Anybody working for the A's? Or do they just show the pictures?
I don't think the A's have a local broadcast. They may be on the game.
Yeah, I think they're on the game. I think I've seen that. But do they have a TV?
No, because this is their second year in Sacramento, and it's worse than last year apparently.
So they don't even have the A's. Don't even have smarts to say we're going to Las Vegas next year.
You're going to want to get to know us.
So let's create an image and start to get people in Las Vegas interested. Maybe we'll give the scores and points instead of this is okay. It's now a 5-over lead for the spread is now 6-2.
I can't tell you the score because that would spoil your gambling. So I'll just say that it's an interesting game and FanDuel is open for business.
You would think that the director of broadcasting of the A's, if they even have one, and if they're not, the job is open. We're available.
Make a deal.
We can make you a deal. We don't even have to do it full time. You don't even have to get us insurance. We got Social Security, right? But it just appears that they have no. I don't know, how do you run a ball club? Remember Andy Dolich?
Yeah.
I mean, that freaking guy knew everything that was going. He knew what every number 2 pencil in the Oakland A's closets were. I mean, Andy Dolich was. I mean, that dude knew it. He had it all right in his head, man. You talked to Andy Dolich for 10 seconds, and you knew more about the A's than Charlie Finley did. Probably more than Charlie Finley ever wanted to know about the A's. But this new ownership group, these people that run, who I don't even know who it is now, Fisher?
The Schmedley Group.
The Schmedley Group. They don't want to know anything, I guess, until they get to Oakland, right? I mean, till I get to Las Vegas.
And they just assume that there's going to be an American League fan base there waiting patiently for them.
Seems like that's what they think.
With bated breath. They're the only baseball game in town, so you can be an A's fan or you can forget about it.
Seems like we own the game.
Or it can be a Giants fan like me and just wonder why you bother.
Which would not be an incorrect, after all of this time, would not be an incorrect diagnosis, would it?
No, I'm afraid not. As a fan of the Giants, I've got the gout.
Yeah, I mean, really, is you have a thing where you say, okay, if you're a Giants fan, you have this nice ballpark. Yeah, the fries are a little overpriced, but they're not so out of reach that you couldn't do one of those Klarna plans and pay for a basket of fries over 2 or 3 games.
That sounds reasonable.
And so on and so forth. And what I'm looking for here right away is I want to be able to show you that something that my my beautiful daughter and my lovely ex-wife decided to do this year. As you know, they're pretty good baseball fans. My ex-wife, Judy, more of a baseball fan than my daughter. But they decided that they would go see what opening day is like in Japan. And so yesterday, traveled to, not yesterday, traveled a few days ago, but went to Tokyo to see what goes on in Tokyo for opening day.
And were they pleased?
This is a little bit of what they got to see. That is outside of the Tokyo Dome.
More dancing than the Giants get involved
Tokyo
with.
Dome City is what that is. And this is probably about, I think she had said a few hours before game time. I'll give you a couple of different things just from a short observation. From a fan's eye view, this is a whole amusement area built up outside of the ballpark, outside of the Tokyo Dome. As you'll notice, while a show is being put on with dancers, no male. It doesn't appear as male and female dancers. It appears that it's all female dancers. So we don't have the problem of, the whole thing that tends to go on of well, we have to have an equal amount of female dancers and male dancers, and these are the dancers. Shut your mouth and watch. And people seem to be accepting of that. Doesn't seem to be people like fighting with each other. We don't see beer cans being thrown around. We don't see people.
It's a happy crowd.
Dressed in drunkenness, as I like to call it. We see a bunch of people nicely dressed in different types of attire. They do have the Tokyo. I forget what it's not the the Giants. They got I forget which. Of course, they have like 6 different teams in Tokyo or something, or it's prefects. Anyway, bottom of the idea is everything looks pretty orderly, And then and as I said, it's like 4 hours before game time. The food, from what she said to me, was pretty well. She hasn't sent me pictures, the time difference, but she did send me one picture that I think said it all.
Well, I want to tell those Tokyo players that if they have a good year, they can come and play in California for big money.
Yeah, well, that's what's actually turning into a bit of a problem there. Is that it's been a problem for a while, and the problem is that the players now are starting to get popular, as they have been for many years. Ichiro probably the most of all, and now they're upset that they are becoming stars and taking off for the United States, getting posted, and the teams are making money. So if you have a low-end team in the Japanese, I forget if it's the A League or because they have a couple of different leagues there that you move through. If they decide that they need money, they take their best player, a good player, and post them. And if they're a good player, or not a great player, even a decent player, the major league club that wants them must pay a phenomenal amount of money to that Japanese team.
Bidding wars
to get
erupt.
Their services. And so they're not exactly happy about that. The fans, I say.
Change the financial territory that they play in.
Right. And what's the sense of fans getting invested in a player when you know that if he gets good, what's he going to do? He's going to take off and he's going to go play for the Yankees or the Mets or the Mariners or whoever the club the Cubs, the Kansas City Royals. I mean, there's no there's no end to what team that they might play for.
No honor among thieves.
Well, there's no like, we're Japanese. We're happy to be here, and we make a lot of money here. We'd be happy just going back and forth to watch play our game here. But no, the goal now for the Japanese players seems to be to get the hell out of here. So I don't know. It's not creating a great environment for for a lot of Japanese players or the fans.
What we just saw with the international play, Vinnie, is that the teams from Dominican Republic and Venezuela have excellent teams and they have a lot of talent. So it's not just the Japanese guys who are looking for a better job. It's anybody playing ball right now at that level who can make it to the next level.
But the Venezuelan players, the Cuban players have a special situation. But most of the Hispanic players, most of the brown players have to go through some kind of process of a draft.
Their futures are different than those from Japan.
Their futures are quite different than the Japanese, even the Korean players. Go through
Giants have a great process. Younger league. So
it's a very odd situation that I don't think benefits everybody equally. What country you come from benefits you in a different way if you are a baseball player. And I don't know exactly what the best answer to it is, but it doesn't seem like a system is fair that if somebody from the Japanese Baseball League, the JBL, I guess it is, wants to come and play in America, that a team should have to pony up $50 million for a player that you don't even know how he's going to turn out.
You have to compensate the team that developed him.
Right. You have to compensate them, and you don't know how they develop them. You can send scouts to look at them and this and that, but you have to do this process called posting, and maybe you'll get them. Maybe you'll compete with these other teams and get them, and maybe not. Maybe you'll lose a whole ton of money. So it doesn't seem to me to be very fair uh, for, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, the Major League Baseball teams. It seems fair for everybody else is making a dollar. The agents seem to be making $1 off it. But if you're a team, I guess they've had enough good players come out of it that it's worth it for them. But boy, it doesn't seem well for the Hispanic players. Doesn't seem like it bodes well for American players.
Coming out of college, they have a disadvantage.
Yeah, I would think so, because where is the club going to put their money these days? Into a player that's trained through a farm system where they've been in there 7 years and they can immediately come to the major leagues and probably make an impact? Or are they going to take some kid out of college who is good, but still needs 4 or 5 years of seasoning? Because we know that baseball development is much different than Japanese player development, any player development. You need time to develop a player, not just his skills, but his socialization, how he gets along with other people, how he handles the media,
how he adjusts to the new language, new country, new.
Yeah, I used to have
everything.
a really good friend, a guy that was a wonderful man. He passed away way, way, way earlier than he should have. Benny Looper, who used to work for the Mariners, was an epitome of a baseball man. You know, he was a baseball guy. He just knew. You'd always see him. You probably know him in a minute if you saw him. He was with the Mariners a long time. A quiet guy who just knew his baseball. Didn't seek to be in the limelight or the press or get his name in the paper. But if you looked at the stages of the people, of the names of the people he signed to the Mariners over the years, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
So he was a scout, but he was also an executive.
Right. I think he was a vice president of scouting or something like that. But him and Roger Young Award were two guys who just knew baseball players. And I was lucky enough, to be able to talk to Benny on a number of occasions. And just, especially in spring training, you say, what the hell you go to spring training for? Because in the morning in spring training, these guys would walk out to the field and stand at the batting cage and with their arms on it, and they'd look at the players that they've drafted. And you could talk to them casually and say, geez, Benny, what'd you see in that guy? Or, geez, Benny, and Benny was the kind of guy who'd sit there and tell you and explain to you why this guy might not be coming up this year.
But he'll move from AA to AAA.
Yeah. It's not always about the money. It's what a guy like Benny and his staff of advisors, which were fantastic people, Greg Hunter, and just a staff of people who really knew were well trained by Vinnie of what to look for. And anyway, to make this long story even shorter, I got a chance on several occasions to talk to him, have these great conversations while standing and talking to the guy around the batting cage and looking at different players. And it was awesome to get that knowledge. You couldn't buy it in a book. And unfortunately, then he got sick one day, and never got unsick, and just left. He just left, and
He had better things to do.
Well, sometimes I look at the way things are going, Mikey, and I think it might exactly have been. But I feel bad for his family because he had this great family, a son that played Major League Baseball, Braden Looper, and I think that was his name, Braden Looper, and just a guy that I just think of around every opening day for the kind of guy who he was one of those guys. I always say this about guys like him, John McLaren, who is still with us, thank God. Chuck Cartier, who's no longer with us, former manager of the Mariners and the Mets. But guys who were willing to give you a couple of minutes, even you were nobody, even though you were nobody. You didn't play the game. You didn't coach the game. You weren't on the level of the game that some people needed you to be on to accept you as a person that they should be talking to, but yet they talk to you. Maybe they saw something, and maybe they just wanted somebody to buy them a cup of coffee, which I always thought would be strange because they had all the free coffee you could drink. But, you know what I'm saying? It was just a neat thing to be able to take advantage of that. Pat Gillick was another guy like that. That he was a guy you could sit there and talk to and would give you answers, not bullshit you around. Treat you like a human being. Roger Craig. You want to go back in a guy where Frank Robinson never suffered fools, never wanted to talk to really anybody. Was a nice guy, but really didn't consider you his equal in any shape, manner, or form.
If you were a baseball man, he'd be available to you.
Right.
By the way, isn't Lou Piniella returning in some form with the Mariners?
I hadn't seen that, but I hadn't seen much of anything. There's going to be some kind of celebration this year of the 2001 team. I haven't been invited or talked to or anything about it. So, but then again, I don't get invitations for anything with them. It's like I don't even exist really with that team. But, it bothers me, but I won't say that it will. People got their people, and that's it. I'm sure that.
Well, hey, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? Probably nothing. The ambulance is what you were driving.
Well, no, actually, I just got it delivered yesterday. I haven't had a chance to walk out and look at it, to be honest with you. But it's the long-awaited Volkswagen Tiguan.
The Tiguan.
And I moved it from one parking space to another, and that was about it. That's all I really felt comfortable driving the last couple of days. But I'm up on my feet again today, and I will get in it and do a little driving, see how it at least works the streets around here.
Let Marianne drive it, and you can just be the passenger and yell at the pedestrians.
That might
get the hell out of the road.
That might be a pleasure. Shaking my cane out the window at them, so I look like an actual old man.
So you look like a threat to their security.
Yeah, but you know what? Volkswagen frowns on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see
So,
I see the point you're making.
yeah, they don't want you to do much of that. So what I will probably do is get in it at some point a little later today and drive it and send it and or send it around the block a few times and see what we have here, because everything I've read about it say that it's a spectacular little vehicle. It's the Volkswagen that not a lot of people know about, and they should. So we'll do that.
You see it and you think it's a Kia or a Toyota or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, Volkswagen unfortunately hasn't had a lot of luck lately with their vehicles. They've not they've not they've just had problems either in their marketing or in their ability to uh, build and get the word out there about their vehicles. Thank you. So hopefully they'll have a little more luck with this thing, because they are good vehicles. I like them. I got a lot of good things to say about
It's a
Volkswagen.
crowded marketplace.
It's a ridiculously crowded. There's more coming, because it's only a matter of time before the Trump people accept the envelope from the Chinese and let them into the country. And when that happens, it's not going to be pretty. When that happens, it's not going to be something you're going to,
So Donald needs a cash payoff.
in however it happens. Maybe it won't be a cash payoff. Maybe it'll be, well, we won't, we will put our troops in Taiwan if you let our automakers
It's a simple deal.
come into New Mexico. Would you think we would, which would probably be how many wars will be fought in the future? Not
Negotiate a build out. We want plants in Georgia, Taos, New Mexico, and pick another state.
Yeah, better to
Idaho.
keep us occupied in um, New Mexico than it is to keep us occupied on the 35th parallel.
And we'll spend that money building plants
39th.
in the U.S. instead of going to war with you over Taiwan.
Exactly. Makes a lot more sense. Less people get killed.
Plus, we've seen the way that the United States conducts its wars. We don't want any part of that.
Exactly. So why create this big problem when all we have to do is just boom, 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 and we're all set to fly?
You know who gets off scot-free in this war that we have in the Middle East is the generals that are running this war. There's no criticism of them. There's no explanation from them. There's no dissection of their talents or their preparation or their field operations. No matter whatever they do, that's never under any scrutiny or any by anyone, or nor do their plans and their execution of those plans ever come under scrutiny or question.
Well, you knew that was going to happen when Country Joe McDonald died.
Give me an F.
F. Give me a U.
Really. All you get is the F.
Yeah.
You paid for the U, the C, and the K, but all they delivered was the F.
Now instead of young guys like him, you got young guys like Elon Musk or this putz that runs what's that big company there with the face in the book? You got them.
Meta.
Yeah, you don't have anybody who's willing to stand up. You don't have a Country Joe McDonald out there. Matter of fact, the only guy that's really at the moment it's a big artist that's standing up against all of this crap is Springsteen.
Right. And he said he's going to do it no matter who's with him or who's against him, because he knows where his audience is.
Right. And he's right. I mean, I don't think, but again, his audience though is, if he wants to keep his audience, he's going to have to do something about his crazy ticket prices.
Well, he was going to retire, but now politics and music have intersected once again.
Well, the good thing about politics and music, Michael, as you've seen many times, there's something about it that enlivens you.
There's something happening here.
Right. And it's not exactly clear.
Never is.
There's a man with a gun over there.
And he's coming here.
And here, and here, and here, and here. And he's not, he's a Pete pig. He's a Pete Hegseth.
Boy.
Who really just has no clue.
And isn't bothered by it. He's so comfortable being ignorant that it's amazing.
And nobody's bothered by it, it seems. The president is not bothered by it. Nobody's bothered by the fact. Well, he's a good guy. He must be good. He's a Fox host.
But Donald Trump
let us know what the fuck he's talking about.
Trump let us in on a secret yesterday that is the root to all our problems, and that is he doesn't care. And he said so in exactly those words. I don't care. But you're at war, and you have gas prices, and you have elections coming up, and the midterms are going to decimate your party. I don't care.
Did you think that was a secret?
No, it's pretty obvious to me.
Yeah, did you?
And guess who else doesn't care? And the Republicans who support him don't care either.
Yeah. It's unbelievable how many of them don't care. They're only there for the money. That's all. They're only there to build an emergency room that isn't an emergency room for money that they can get out of the government.
What about the ballroom? Can they use that as an emergency room? Can it double as anything else?
They did. Was it the War of 1812?
Yes.
Where they used it as an emergency room?
It was a great war. Fabulous.
A hell of a war. It was a good war, that War of 1812, because it ended all wars, didn't it?
And they named it in such a way that you can always remember when it happened.
Well, they used to name wars like that. They used to say the Spanish-American conflict of 1898. And you would know that war happened in 1898, and it was between the Spanishes and the Americans. Easy peasy, right?
Plus, you can get a T-shirt with all the information on it. You can always reference stuff.
Front and back, where it played, who got killed in it, and everything. Just dial Trump, and he'll get you one.
It'll be good.
All right. You want to try to do this Monday?
Let's do it, Vin. Good to have you back.
Good to be back. I will see everybody tomorrow morning. Hopefully, I would say a better 50% chance that I'll join you for drive time tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Behind the wheel of his Tiguan.
Hopefully, if not, Marianne will be driving it, and I'll be doing the commentary.
She's doing play-by-play in your color.
Well, it'll be as good as the Giants gave you for your opening day, or Netflix could.
Well, Netflix showed up, and the Yankees showed up. The Giants, not so much.
Well, they'll have they'll do like they did. I forget who was the first team to start to do this, but remember they had the children's opening day?
No.
Yeah, matter of fact, maybe it was Randy Adamek that started that. The Mets, the Mariners, and they used to have a second opening day for the kids. And kids would come to the ballpark, and they, sit and didn't have to sit with their parents. Remember when you went to a baseball game with your friends and you didn't need your freaking parents to go with you? You got a bunch of your friends, and you got on the subway, and you went to Shea Stadium. You snuck in.
Those are city kids. Then those are city kids.
You didn't do that in the suburbs?
No.
You mean you weren't allowed to go to a game without your parents?
Weren't allowed to go anywhere.
How the hell did you get anywhere?
Well, where are we now? We didn't get anywhere in all that time.
That explains more than I really wanted to know. All right. See you on Monday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise. Have a good one, Michael.
Take care of yourself, Vinnie. I insist.
Thanks, man. Talk to you later. Peace, love, Smith Brothers cough drops, and Manischewitz.
What a wine. Okay.
See you, Mikey.
Take the rest of the day off.
Thanks, pal.